Good morning, everyone. How was your exam? I know it was good because you were well prepared. You already got the notice for mock tests too, but nothing to worry about. It will be very easy for those who have learned everything thoroughly. But those who have a tendency to read only the question answers and only the selected parts, they may be in problem. So better I'll suggest all of you to go for a thorough reading so that you face no problem in the exam. Since you know you have two poems in your exam, that is the Darkling Thrust and Birches. So I'll be just asking you to do one thing. Since you have read everything with all the explanations and all, see, fill in the blanks may come from the poem, right? So I'll suggest you to go for this poems line by line, so that if you are asked to fill the blank with the missing word, you will be able to do so. And meanings are also very important because they may also come. And then symbolism, there is a chance, but not that much concrete point that it will obviously come, but you have to read. So most of all you have to read everything. So I will just go for a quick recap of all the poems so that you can memorize things, okay? But after this you have to promise me that you will read on your own, and if you have any difficulty you will contact me, right? So first we'll start with Darkling Thrust, right? Darkling Thrust is written by Thomas Hardy, and let us begin with the hopefully the book is with you, so I'll ask you to open it and go for this poem once again. I leaned upon a coppice gate when frost was spectre grey, and winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of the day. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres, and all mankind that haunted nigh had sought their household fires. So we can see the poem opens with the ending of the day or ending of the year. The poet describes a cold day. It was desolate, it was very cold, and it was very chilly outside, and there was complete isolation and remoteness in the atmosphere. The speaker is in a meditative mood. He is leaning upon a coppice gate, meaning the gate opens onto the wood. The gate can also indicate the doorway to the new century. It marks the transition from the dying century to a new beginning. He is witnessing the bleak and dreary scene very carefully. The presence of frost indicates that it is winter, and Hardy's coining of the phrase spectre grey suggests the haunted landscape. Devoid of any hope, the scene looks full of dreary. This dry season, winter is ending, and the sun, represented by the imagery wakening eye of the day, is wanting fast. So the countryside looks more like a corpse of a dead body, devoid of a soul. The winter dregs have made the sun look more desolate. Winter dregs refer to the fallen snow and a heavy fog. They are leftovers of a dying season. So the tangled vine stems seem to be like broken lyres against the sky. So the vine stems soaring against the sky resemble the broken strings of a lyre. The poet has compared the tangled vine stems to the broken lyres, although he uses the word score, which is a musical term. The image created is an ominous one. So, and poet has presented frost and sun as living entities. Winter landscape is a metaphor, and the dying century. The whole landscape seems to be in a deep slumber, right? Hardy's personal loss of faith resonates the whole stanza, rather the whole poem. Then the next stanza. The land's sharp features seem to be the century's crops outlined. His crypt and cloudy canopy, the wind, its death lament. The ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken hard and dry, and every spirit upon earth seemed powerless as I. So the landscape is found lying under a massive layer of clouds. Here he wants to show that the cloud looks like a canopy, and it is a canopy to the century's death crops. Okay, the clouds would serve a tomb of a dead body. The wind will be singing a mournful song, as if it is the last rite of the centuries being performed. And the speaker, being dejected and disillusioned, sadly remarks that, like depressed spirit, the ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken hard and dry. There is no hope to be seen for revitalization and rebirth and hope, nothing like that. Rather, it seems to be shrunken and it becomes hard. Okay, it actually lost all the probabilities to rise further. And there is no enthusiasm and excitement in the air. Everyone seems to have come to stand still. He finds his own existence without definite identity and meaning. Every spirit upon the earth seems powerless as I. So every spirit upon the earth seems powerless, and they are like devoid of soul, and looking for nothing but the end of their lives. Okay, and so is he. There is no difference. So we cannot ignore the image of decay and destruction in these lines, and he uses everything with its utmost symbolism to show how much hopeless he was, and how much every natural object is being personified here, and they all are accompanying to the last rite of the century's death. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead in a full-hearted evensong of joy illimited. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt and small, in blast beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. Now, this stanza 3 is quite different from the other two stanzas. Here you will get to see a small ray of hope is seen in the sky with the singing of the bird, right? It is singing so joyfully amidst this gloom atmosphere, and making the poet think what is going on. I mean, this is something which is going against the whole situation right now, and the bird seems to fling its soul. Okay, and it is singing so rapturously without being damaged by the very dreary and gloomy weather outside. Even if it is bitten badly, but it decides to sing joyfully, and this was something to be heard in this in such situation, was something that conveys the last ray of hope to the poet. And see, this imagery is frail, gaunt, small. All this actually show the weakness of the bird. It means it is also bitten badly by the weather. But to this contrary, you will see it is singing so joyfully. So it is actually not paying heed to the dull and dreary atmosphere. Rather, it decides to fling its soul against this situation to so that he can address everyone's attention with hope. Okay, so little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound was written on terrestrial things afar nigh around, that I could think there trembled through his happy good night air some blessed hope, and whereof he knew, and I was unaware. So this speaker here fails to comprehend the source of happiness that is actually causing the cheerfulness in the bird's song. He is unaware of the fact, and he feels like there are no positive signs far or nigh around and can make this bird sing. I mean, there was no such reason which can make the bird sing so rapturously. He cannot find any valid justification for the bird's melody. However, he feels that there is some blessed hope in the bird's heart which is unknown to the speaker. Okay, there must be hidden reasons behind it, and the speaker's acknowledgement that he is not aware of the cause is that that inspired the bird's song. This will change the tone of the poem. Means even if you are badly bitten, even if you are shattered, even if you are devoid of all the hope and anything positive outside, don't worry, there is always a ray of hope. Sometimes it may be unseen, but it doesn't mean it is not present. So with the bird song, it is seen here, and the bird's song acts here like a solace. The speaker wonders if the bird is the messenger of good hope. Here you will find the Christian, some Christian annotations may be here. I mean, it can be the representative of Christ, which is showering us with the rain of hope, and he can question the fact but cannot negate it. The bird song raises a faint hope in the speaker that the new century which is about to make its appearance will bring some hope and happiness to all of us. It's not like being shattered and being hopeless with the end of the old century, right? So here you will just go through the poem once again, read out all the meanings and the symbolism as well. Let us proceed to the next poem, that is Birches by Robert Frost. It is also full of implications. When I see birches bend to left and right across the lines of straighter darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them, but swinging doesn't bend them down to stay as ice storms do. Often you must seen them loaded with ice winter morning. So the beginning of the poem, the poet maintains an easy conversational style. The opening lines represent a contrast between the real cause of the bending birches and the imaginary cause. Okay, first the poet imagines some boys may be swinging on them, and their movement causes the bend in the branch of the tree. But then he negates his own self by saying that no, in reality it is not possible. It is not possible for a boy to bend it so violently. Rather, it is done by the ice storms. Now you will get to see here imagination and realism both are prevailing here. After a rain, they click upon themselves as the breezes rises. They turn many colors, and the star cracks and creases enamels. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shade crystal cells. Shattering and avalanching on the snow crust, such heaps of broken glass to sweep away, you would think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. So the speaker had observed the natural phenomena minutely here and described it. In these lines, he describes a vivid and picturesque sight of the scenario. The birches are covered with ice storms and rain, but in the morning, with the help of the sun rays, we will see the creases there in the enamel, and it actually, after getting hit hit by the sun rays, it just falls, it just breaks and falls from the outward bark of the tree, and it seems like the inner dome of heaven had fallen. Okay, the poet's vivid imagination is seen here in the imagery. The ice crystals easily become the heaps of broken glass, and it is actually the poet's imaginative sensibility that allows him to think that it is the inner dome of heaven that has fallen, that has covered the earth. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break through once they are bowed. So low and long, and never right themselves, you may see their trunks arching in the woods. Years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground, like girls on hands and knees, and throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. The speaker observes that the birches bend down due to the load of snow, and they are dragged to the withered bracken because of the burden of the ice. Bracken refers to the fern found there in that hillside. Its dried up appearance has made it look dreary and dull. Despite this, birches seem not to break. Okay, though they are in a position to set themselves right. Its trunks lie arched in the wood. The leaves bent low and touch the ground. In a vivid imagery, it seems like girls are flinging their hair, and it seems like they have come to dry out their hair in the sun. So even if it is broken, it is beaten hard, but it doesn't seem to be broken in that sense. Rather, it seems like an arching, and it has made an arching shape, as if the girls they are sitting, spreading their hair over their head, and it seems like the birches, they are bent down like that. But I was going to say, when truth broke in with all her matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was to find himself summer or winter and could play alone. The reality dawns on the speaker and obstructs his flow of fancy. He is thinking of a boy who is not like us. He is living in a countryside. He loves being alone, too far the town to learn baseball. He has devised a game for himself, a game that is more exciting to him. He doesn't like to play with others. He doesn't know other games, rather this one. The poet swings between the reality and own imagination. Though the truth has hampered his fanciful power of thinking, he chooses to dwell in his own world of imagination instead of accepting the truth of the bent birch trees. He would prefer to interpret the scene from his own fanciful perspective, despite knowing the harsh reality. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again, until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. Now the speaker here imagines the boy to have found his own devised game of which will give him interest and thrill. The boy sees his father's birches as object to be conquered by swinging that. So he rides them bent down and over again. He does not leave a single tree not to be climbed up. In doing so, he takes away the stiffness of the birch trees. He has learned the game, Consequently, he maintains perfect balance even when he reaches on the top and comes to the ground with the same ease and movement. These lines here convey the poet's whole imagination, his own contemplation behind the poem. He being a bird swinger of a birch tree, he likes to go up and then obviously he decides to come back to touch the ground of the earth. He actually wants to maintain the balance of this two very minutely and carefully. It doesn't mean that he wants to go up and he wants to remain there. He wants to, yes, he loves to dwell in his fanciful imagination, but he will obviously come back after dwelling is done. Okay, that is why he wants to maintain the very string like balance between imagination and realism. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains you use to fill a cup up to the brim and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air of the ground. So these lines describe the climbing of birch trees. The climbing has been performed skillfully and precisely. To fill the cup up to the brim and even above the brim. The boy has viewed the climbing of the birch tree as an art. After reaching the top, he flings himself outwards, stretching his feet, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. These lines are very much metaphorical. The care taken by the young boy to climb trees can be interpreted from various perspectives. It may refer to the careful construction involved in a completing literary task, or it may also refer a sense of triumph felt by the poet on establishing his world of imagination over the world of reality. So, was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I am weary of considerations and life is too much like a pathless wood where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from a twigs having lashed across it open. So in the line begins with the poet's reminiscing thought. The poet recalls his own childhood days. He was also a swinger of birches. He nostalgically desires to be a swinger of birch once again. He wants to avoid those negative impulses that impede the free development of his soul, and he wants to have his own childhood days back. So he says here, the life's like a pathless wood, is full of confusion and apprehension. Yes, we often deal with it. So it is the reality of life. It will never lead you to a groomed and directed goal. But you have to find out this is rather full of pathless wood and burns and tickles. Sometimes it causes our play, it causes our pain, it causes our dilemma, it causes all the hazard in our mind. But yes, one eye is weeping. This is the state of the common people, not a common one. This is the state of the people on the earth. So that is why he wants to have an escape from his drudgeries. Okay, the poet's sharp contrast between the real and the imaginary world makes us realistic and makes us, very aware of the harsh realities of life. But we also should have an escape so that we can survive the rest. I'd like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it begin over. May no fate will fully misunderstand by and half grant that I wish and snatch me away not to return. Earth's right place for love, I don't know where it's likely to go better. So in this stanza, the poet is making the reader clear so that he wants to be an escapist, but this should not be a permanent escape. He wants to come back because he finds this earth is a right place for love and hope. So even if it is full of tragedies, it has some positive aspects too. So that this can be a temporary escape or elevation, but he will definitely love to come back. Okay. And I would like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb back branches up a snow white trunk toward heaven, till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good, both going and coming back, and one do worse than be a swinger of birches. In the concluding lines, the speaker says that he would like to climb the birch tree. He wants to carry the branches. He wants the branches to carry him toward heaven, to enjoy its momentary bliss, and then again he wants to come back. The word heaven here has multiple connotations. It can mean the world full of fanciful imagination, and a world free from negative feelings, and escape from the painful reality, and land in a land of lofty ideas and aspirations. So the last concluding line is very important, that one could do worse than be a swinger of birches, means one could certainly do worse by not to try making an attempt to go there. We all are bound to live here. At the same time, we all should provide a solace to our souls, so that we should gather the energy and the positive positive inspiration that is required to live the life on the earth. And if no one tries, he or she will be doing the worst to his or her life. Okay, so it is a perfect blend of idealism and realism. This poem already is taught to you. Today I have tried to read this out once again. The meanings you will read out the whole poem once again with its explanations. Okay, so I think you will face no problem in the examination. All the best to all of you. Please do read well, utilize the time properly. You will not get this time. It is a bliss to all of us. Think in a positive way. Okay, so we'll meet in the next class. Hopefully your exams will go good. Okay, best of luck to you once again. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.